In the news tonight, local democratic organs urged to become independent. Cocaine trafficker sentenced to 4 years in jail. Surveillance being heightened to detect substandard medication. And in sport, Het Miley's Windies to series leveling victory. And national men's hockey team reaches semi-finals at CAC. Tristan Joseph will have the details later on. This is our Thursday, July 26th edition of the NCN News. I am Leron Brummel. Thank you for joining us. To our top story. President David Grange has reiterated his commitment to holding local government elections whenever they are constitutionally due. His statement was made at the opening of the National Conference of Local Democratic Organs at the Arthur Chung Convention Center earlier in the day. We get the details from Paul Moore.
The conduct of regular elections reflects government's sincere commitment to promote democratic renewal and community development, where they come first and where they come most, from the bottom up. It is a manifestation of government's resolve to empower citizens to take control of their own communities.
President David Granger says despite government's other financial obligations, it will ensure that monies are always available for the hosting of these elections. Last Thursday, Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan announced that local government elections will be held on November 12 this year. The head of state also urged the leaders at the local government level to develop village improvement plans to better stimulate village economies.
We look to villages becoming more socially cohesive units, promoting interethnic harmony. Community centers must come alive again with athletic, cultural and social activities and trade fairs, such as the spate of regional agriculture and commercial exhibitions, which have brought to the fore a wide range of cottage industries all across the nation. Neighborhood democratic councils must drive this revitalization process.
Mr. Granger said issues of teenage pregnancy, access to equal education, proper garbage disposal services, and affordable energy could be addressed through the creation of village improvement plans. He called for local government organs to play a greater role in youth empowerment.
Employment should not be limited to everyday village life. Opportunities should be open for young villagers to be educated as accountants, as attorneys, business persons, doctors, engineers, managers, speakers of the National Assembly. Why not? Every child should be given the opportunity to be the best that he or she could be.
The president further emphasized that the villages are the center for human interaction and urged that initiatives for rebuilding and transforming the towns and villages begin immediately. Paul Moore for the NCN News.
Meanwhile, local democratic organs have been encouraged to come up with creative ways to generate revenues that will serve the interest of the people they represent. This call came from the Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan during the inaugural National Conference of Local Democratic Organs. Trace Romalo was there.
The conference targeted chairpersons, vice chairpersons, regional executive officers, overseers of regional and neighborhood democratic councils, town clerks from the various municipalities, as well as councillors. Among the areas covered was the modernization of property valuation system by a team from the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation from Canada. Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan encouraged the participants to utilize the knowledge gained to increase revenue collection in their jurisdictions.
Where must your resources come from? And the answer to this is not the central government. We are moving away from that. You must come up with creative ways within the confines of the law and with the voice of your communities included to generate needed revenue. The laws provide for revenue sources to come from within local jurisdictions.
The conference was held to discuss initiatives that can help to promote sustainable local democracy in Guyana. Co-chairperson of the National Regional Development Consultative Committee, Genevieve Allen, said leadership is fundamental to the effectiveness of local governance in Guyana.
This conference will provide a platform for the cordial, coordinated and collaborative development of quality leadership envisioned by the Constitution that nurtures the widest involvement in the development of communities.
Meanwhile, the conference was hailed as historic by Chairman of the Local Government Commission, Mortimer Mingo.
This element of cohesion is absolutely essential to ensure harmonization, fairness, and equality. There is no doubt that this initiative to embrace collaboration is the best way forward.
Tris Romalo for NCN News.
Now, a team from the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, MPAC, Axiological of Canada, is here to undertake a comprehensive property valuation. Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkin says a 12-month pilot project is to begin in New Amsterdam.
When completed, the updated property register will be shared with the respective LDOs and should serve as the basis for informed decision-making. However, you see fit and necessary. I emphasize that the Ministry will not be visiting with LDOs to set rates, as is being deliberately misrepresented in some quarters. Each council will make their own decision.
Minister Bulkin noted that the project is one of the many steps being undertaken by central government to improve the financial independence of LDOs. He lamented the inadequate and poor collection of rates and taxes, which continue to affect the effective functioning of local democratic organs. Now, several Guyanese are among 65 Caribbean and Latin American migrants recently nabbed by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE removal operations. The 65 were arrested over a 5-day operation that ended on July 20 in New York City and on Long Island. The arrests were made in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, among other areas. Reports are that several of those arrested had prior convictions for serious or violent offenses, such as sexual offenses, weapons charges, and assault. Some of the individuals arrested during the operation will face criminal prosecutions for illegal entry and illegal re-entry. Now, a cocaine trafficker has been fined over $3 million and sentenced to 4 years behind bars after appearing in court on Thursday. Nacasia Logan has details.
Kelvin Sawyers, called John, who pleaded guilty to possession of cocaine for trafficking, has been fined $3.3 million and sentenced to 4 years behind bars. He appeared before Magistrate Peter Hugh at the Vigilance Magistrates Court on Thursday morning. The charge read that on July 6 at Lot 8 Enterprise, East Coast, Demerara, he had over 3 pounds of cocaine in his possession for the purpose of trafficking. Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit Prosecutor Konya Sandyford told the court that on the day in question, Kanu Ranks visited Sawyer's home and saw him escaping through a window. A search on his premises unearthed 2 backpacks containing 279 cocaine pellets. On July 11, Kanu issued a wanted bulletin for Kelvin and Mark Sawyers. And on July 24, they both surrendered to police. Sawyer's case is linked to 19-year-old Anissa Hardy, who was busted at the Chedi Jagan International Airport after ingesting 119 pellets of cocaine. She was fined $1.4 million and jailed for 3 years. Meanwhile, 3 days after being released from prison for a fight he had with a man, 23-year-old Kevin Anderson of Sophia has been sent back to serve a month in jail. It is alleged that Anderson of 1648 Sophia behaved in a disorderly manner on July 24 at Orange Walk border. He was ordered to pay a fine of $15,000 or spend 1 month in jail. The unemployed man said he has no money to pay the fine. Nacasia Logan, NCN News.
Welcome back. Now for more news. The National Two Shelves Council will not only benefit from the construction of a secretariat, since plans are in the pipeline for recreational and other facilities. This is according to President David Grange, who says the government will stand true to its promise made to the indigenous peoples of Guyana. Here are details.
Minister
Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Sidney Alicock, has been mandated by President David Granger to compile a proposal for the construction of a secretariat for the National Tushaus Council, NTC. This was disclosed by President Granger at State House during a meeting where issues affecting indigenous communities were discussed. He said the minister will be working in partnership with the Ghana Lands and Survey Commission and the NTC to identify a plot of land that will be suitable for the establishment of a complex that will include dormitories to accommodate the Tushaus, conference rooms, and other facilities. Initially, a plot of land at the Sophia Exhibition Center was identified, but it only caters for the construction of a building.
My brothers and sisters, it would be the height of hypocrisy for me to go to Sophia, to turn the sod, to commit myself to providing a spot for the NTC headquarters, to write to the head of the Ghana Lands and Surveys Commission to identify a site, and then to fail to deliver. All that happened is that the site that was chosen, correctly or incorrectly, is in the middle of a national exhibition center.
The National Tushaus Council recently criticized the administration over the plot of land for the construction of the secretariat, but the president warned about making wild accusations before trying to know the facts of the matter.
So our plans are grand, and we don't want to limit you to that spot, but we intend to deliver on our promise. But if there's any query, don't go to the rooftops and make accusations. Ask the vice president, ask the minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, ask my own Minister of Public Affairs, ask the Minister of Social Cohesion, and they can all tell you what the truth is.
Meanwhile, Commissioner of the Lands and Survey Commission, Trevor Ben, said the commission is looking at 3 possible locations for the construction of the complex. These are Diamond in Houston and the east bank of the Demerara, and Ogle on the east coast of the Demerara. Minister of State Joseph Harmon had stated that the government is hoping to use a larger plot of land previously owned by the Ghana Sugar Corporation, Gaisuco. President Granger urged the leaders to keep an open door for dialogue and collaboration between the regional administrations, the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, and central government. For the NCN News, Shanza Samuels.
Now, an electronic global surveillance and monitoring system is to be put in place to detect and trace substandard medication being sold and distributed locally. The Pan American Health Organization, during a 3-day workshop, trained senior officials attached to the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department and the Public Health Ministry to use this database. Christian Josiah has details.
Ghana will soon have in place an electronic global surveillance and monitoring system that will assist the country with post-market surveillance. This database, to be monitored by the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department, will provide information on the legitimacy of drugs being used and distributed locally.
If there is any drug that is not registered or is suspected to be resulting in adverse drug reaction, you can enter that drug into the database and get information if it was reported on before, or get information if it is legitimate, etc.
Senior officials attached to the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department and the Public Health Ministry have been trained to use this database. Meanwhile, a regional effort is ongoing to tackle the distribution of falsified medication, where CARICOM countries are now required to register medication available in their country and submit this information to the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA. Through this approach, CARFA will test and monitor these drugs and give recommendation on their legitimacy.
That would help member states with the registration process. Most of us don't have electronic legislation, but through the Caribbean registration system, you can submit your drug information electronically, and they would make a determination or a recommendation for this specific drug.
Meanwhile, a call has been made for persons to report cases where substandard drugs are being distributed.
But I'm appealing to nurses, pharmacists, doctors, and the patients. Please report to us, to your nearest health center. Just report anything that has to do with a negative or side effect of any medicine that you're using.
This initiative was coordinated by the Pan American Health Organization to assist developing countries better police the distribution of medical drugs. Reporting for the NCN News, Kristen Josiah.
Now, the law enforcement arm of the Ghana Revenue Authority on Wednesday intercepted several cases of Johnny Walker whiskey concealed in barrels. At the city port, a barrel which was supposed to contain clothes was opened for inspection when the discovery was made. 2 other barrels were also discovered with the items. Officials believe that this may be part of a larger smuggling ring. They are attempting to track down the consignee. Now, the mayor of City Council is working to have security measures in place prior to the opening of the rehabilitated Kitty Market. Mayor Patricia Chase Green says one such measure is the placing of bars around windows in the sanitary block of the facility. Here are details.
The extension of the Kitty Market from Shell Road, when we walk to that side there, the fence that you have there is broken, so anybody could come off the road and come straight to the yard, because we've seen, even though there's a fence, we've seen missing pieces of that fence and could get into the facilities.
A section of the newly rehabilitated Kitty Market will be opened for business soon, and Mayor Chase Green says securing the market is vital and the council will have to fund the undertaking. Reconstruction of the Kitty Market commenced in 2015. However, financial constraints delayed its completion. During a visit to the facility in May, Mayor Chase Green lamented the challenges in completing the project on time.
Finance is always a problem with the Mayor City Council, because our finances, our income depends upon taxes that we receive. And as we receive, we try to expend.
During Monday's statutory meeting, the mayor said the lack of a market policy is hampering the council's work. She laments the scores of vendors plying their trade on the pavements, blocking access to legitimate businesses. Tres Romalo for NCN News.
Still to come, GAU calls for urgent installation without a board of directors for several months. Back in April, Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder said he had begun the process of identifying candidates to form the Gaisuko board. When asked for an update on the process earlier in the day, the minister was unable to respond to us since he said he was in a meeting at the time. In a letter issued Thursday morning, GAU stated that the board is urgently needed given that the corporation has secured a $30 billion bond financing package aimed at turning the industry around. It calls on the government to appoint a capable, competent and respectable board that will be able to guide the corporation at this time. Now, the father of the 10-year-old boy who allegedly hung himself last week has called on the police to launch a thorough investigation into the child's death. He believes that his son was murdered despite the findings of the autopsy. Nicasia Logan filed this report.
A post-mortem done on the body of 10-year-old Jonathan Ramprasad showed that he died from choking due to hanging. The lad was found hanging in his Success East Coast Demerara home on Wednesday last. However, this story is not sitting well with the child's father, Karan Ramprasad, who claimed that his son was not tall enough to reach the beam of the roof to commit the act.
Me standing up at the premises alongside him. When I stretch my hand up like this here, so I gotta go about 8 inches more higher from my height, right, for tie the sheet up there. Yes, me. And my son, when he's standing up, he did till he's for me. He lay over me, my chest here, right? So, I want to know the love I got for my son. This not empty. Somebody a kill him and then hang him. I ask the public, please, for justice.
The stepfather claims he found the body hanging from the beam of the house when he returned from the washroom. The stepfather was arrested and released from police custody. Meanwhile, Ramprasad said the child's mother had put him out of the house with a salt bag of clothes. The father said the mother claimed that the child was being disobedient at the time.
Said I'm gonna talk to you. He explained to me and tell me like they say when he mother me put you out, he come by me and explain to you. He said stepfather beat him and you tell him to go fetch water, you know. And when you drink, your back me head steady. You understand me? Me ask him, we say this back here, he say back a head. Right? So me say, man, you not tell your mommy? He say when he tell him mommy beat him. Can't you get for here, the stepfather abused me son a lot.
Rampersad continues to call for a thorough investigation to be done into the matter. The police told NCN News that the allegation that the child was abused by the mother and stepfather is being investigated. Nakasia Logan, NCN News.
Jason Holder stressed the importance of supporting the ladies in their quest to grab a women's title. Just off a close win to Bangladesh, the West Indies men earlier today was at the Kitty Roundabout doing some promotional work for the Women's World Cup that is set for November in the Caribbean. West Indies captain Jason Holder spoke on the opportunity for the Caribbean once the event arrives on November 9th.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for us here in the Caribbean. You know, obviously last World T20, the women were victorious in lifting the trophy. You know, I happened to be there in India on the finals day, and it was a wonderful occasion, you know, to see the girls rallying around amongst one another and everybody back home in the Caribbean supporting them. I know we've got an opportunity to come firsthand and see it live in the Caribbean. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for everybody else to come out and see the spectacle.
In addition, Holder noted that it is an opportunity to support women's cricket.
You know, they need as much support as they possibly can get. They've been doing well over the last couple of years, and you know, we've had some outstanding individual performances from the likes of Stephanie Taylor, you know, Deandra Dotton, Haley Matthews, just to name a few. So hopefully the girls can continue in that vein. I guess they've got some time to prepare enough until the start of the tournament, so hopefully they can be ready. And you know, it's important that people in the Caribbean go and support them.
While the men will play their final ODI against Bangladesh on Saturday in St. Kitts, the Women's World Cup will run from November 9th to 24th at stadiums across the Caribbean. Guyana is poised to capture a medal in the men's hockey competition at the Central America and Caribbean Games in Colombia. The team has reached the semi-final round by thrashing Guatemala on a Tuesday evening. Travis Seymour reports.
The national hockey squad got their biggest victory of the games against Guatemala to ensure they finished second in their group, book a semi-finals place. After victory over the Dominican Republic in their first match and a loss to Mexico, Guyana played in a must-win against Guatemala, dominated the match. Mishak Sargent got things off with a goal in the 14th minute, and just like that, it was bombs away. Randy Hope secured Guyana second in the 22nd minute to give them a 2-0 lead at the half. A double from Jorenzo Bell in the 31st and 46th minutes. Coupled with a goal from Brody Bradford would all but take the wind out of Guatemala's sails. However, Captain Robert France, who's one of the country's top Pan-American players, showed his skill and ability with a hat-trick of goals to help Guyana take an 8-0 victory in dominating fashion. Guyana go through to face Cuba on Friday, July 27th, while the other semi-final will see Trinidad and Tobago battle Mexico. Head coach Robert Fernandez says that the team has gotten better with each match, due in large part to the work of fitness coach Barrington Brown.
The Dominican Republic match and the Guatemala match, I think we were better than the teams technically. So it was just a matter of time before our fitness took over and we broke through. Against Mexico, I think Mexico's work rate and technical ability was better than us on the day. I still think if we come up against them again, we put in a better performance. But I think we're getting better as the tournament goes on, and I'm hopeful that we can put out our best performance yet against Cuba in the semifinal.
Travis Seymour for NCN Sport.
The country's powerlifting federation, on the heels of its successful campaign last year, where they captured 33 medals, has named an 8-member team for the 16th annual IPF-NAPF North American Regional Powerlifting Championship, scheduled for Mexico City, Mexico, from August 1st to 4th. The team has 2 females and 6 males, and the athletes will depart Guyana on July 28th. The athletes are Grace Bob in the 72 kg, Masters Nadina Taharali also in the 72 kg. Paul Adams will compete in the 83 kg class, and Masters athletes Franklin Brisport 66 kg along with Frank Tucker in the equipped Masters 105 kg category. The other Master athlete is Najarine Singh in the men's equipped open and men's equipped Masters 4 in the 83 kg class. Also on the team is Carlos Peterson in the 93 kg class and Erwin Smith, a gold medalist at the regional championships. To tennis, defending tennis champion Anthony Downs seemed to be in a different class from the local competition as he cruised to an impressive victory on Monday to claim his 8th successive title in the GBTI Open. Travis Seymour reports.
After more than a week and a half of grueling competition, the 9th edition of the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industries Tennis Open concluded on Monday at the company's Bel Air tennis facility. The finals pitted Anthony Downs against the extremely talented athlete Jonathan Fugandes. Fugandes, who was taking a break from the game to pursue his athletics career, came back with a bang to reach the finals against Downs. Fugandes overcame Devon Gonzalez in his semi-final match, and then numbers 2 seed Benjamin Osborne in the quarterfinals. Downs, who had been plying his trade in neighboring Brazil with success, wasted little time in the finals for an easy victory. 4-love, 4-love.
It actually feels great, to win 8 times, It's a record, and I really enjoyed playing. I really enjoyed watching a lot of matches, actually. This is the first year I watched nearly most of the matches every day. And it was the fastest tournament, fastest GBT I ever held, because I think it was 9 days we took to finish the tournament.
The top player said that he's steadily improving his game and he will make a jump into the world of coaching.
At the moment, I'm heading over to St. Vincent for a 2-week clinic to do a level 1 course with the International Tennis Federation. And when I be back, I'll be working with the top juniors in the country, preparing for the tournaments coming up. And also I'm going to be training to participate in a few ITF tournaments
The
myself.
semifinal was claimed by Khaleesi Fraser, who claimed the win after top ladies player Christy Campbell had to forfeit the match due to cramps. The men's doubles category saw Anthony Downs teaming up with Leland Leacock to defeat Sadeep Chan and Andre Lopes 6-1, 6-3. Other winners include Mark McDonald, who took the junior boys title, while Sarah Clockey took the junior female title. In the mixed doubles, Hemraj Rusal and Khaleesi Fraser came out as the top mixed team. The novice winner was Aubrey Young, with Leland Leacock taking the men's over 35 honor, with Andrew Lopes claiming second. Lopes, however, returned to take the men's over 45 title. Travis Seymour for NCN Sport.
Meanwhile, marketing manager of GBTI, Pamela Binder, stated that the 8th tournament, which fielded 78 matches in 9 categories, was well organized, and as such, they are looking to extend their partnership going forward with the Tennis Association.
We want to now do more for GLTA, whether it be for the numerous members of clubs that fall under GLTA. Whatever it is that we can do, we would want to do it as a bank, as GBTI. This is something that we know an investment into our youth is always an investment into the future. And also notice that there are skills being developed. Our very own Anthony Downs, we know he represented Guyana, and we're glad that he could have fallen under the GLTA. We are glad and we're seeing that these partnerships are what help foster your skills.
Binder mentioned that as a corporate partner, they are steadily working with the communities with a focus on youth and sports. In addition, Secretary of the Guyana Tennis Association, Molly Hassan, announced that they have signed an agreement for the continued sponsorship by GBTI.
This relationship between the Guyana Tennis Association and GBTI has grown stronger, as Ms. Binder alluded to, but we have just inked a 3-year agreement with the GBTI for continuous support and sustenance of the GBTI Open. So for the next 3 years, we are sure that there will be a GBTI Open for the next 3 years.
That we've come to the end of another edition of the NCN News, but before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. Local democratic organs urged to become independent. Cocaine traffic